I've noticed something. I'm a pretty observant person. And I've noticed something about men. Men tend to watch women quite a bit. In some cases, I think men watch women more than women watch women, even to the degree where they're constantly studying women. And something that I hear quite a bit from men when it comes to the topic of women is men usually will say, women just can't get along. Or men will say, every time I meet a woman, she always tells me I don't get along with females. And the man will say, or rather ask the woman, why don't you get along with other females? And then the guy will usually say, the woman tells him, oh, women are messy. And then the guy will say, so you don't have any female friends? And then the woman will respond, no, I just like to hang around guys. I just have guy friends. And then the guy will say, interesting. So that's usually the dialogue that I hear from men. And maybe you've heard the same dialogue from men. And I began to process, why is this happening? Why are men always running into women who tell them that they don't get along with women? Or there's this thought process that women have about women, and it's usually quite negative. That women are catty, women are messy, you can't trust women. It's really depressing when you think about it. And so I said, you know what? There's got to be something behind this. Why are women not getting along with women? And men sense this, and they're picking it up, and they're actually saying that they keep running into women who say that they don't like women. So this actually led to me wanting to do this video message today. And the title of my video is, do lesbians get along better with women than heterosexual women? This is a question, but I'm going to answer it today. I am Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. Here on my YouTube channel, I provide my lesbian perspective. And if that interests you, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do lesbians get along better with women than heterosexual women? I think it depends on which woman you're asking. And what I mean is, are you asking a lesbian woman this question, or are you asking a heterosexual woman this question? And also, are you asking a heterosexual man this question? Because you're going to get a different answer from each person. And the reason why is because Sexual orientation is a big deal. And I always say that your sexual orientation is much deeper than about who you're physically attracted to or who you are involved in with who you're involved in a relationship with. It goes much deeper than that. All of that is important. Who you're attracted to, who you're in a relationship with, but sexual orientation drives you. It actually influences the way you think and the way you operate in life. And so that's why I'm going to break this down for you. Depending on who you ask this question to, you will get a different answer. But then you need to go a little bit deeper and understand, why are you getting this answer or the different answers? So let me just answer based on the three groups of people that I already mentioned. So if you ask a lesbian this question, or if you ask a heterosexual woman this question, or if you ask a heterosexual man this question, you're going to get a different answer. And that's because we all have different sexual orientations, but also we are different genders or sexes. Men and women are different from each other. They think different from each other. They move different from each other. We all have different experiences. But most men think that all women think and behave the same way. But that's false. And that's the issue that most men have. They like to put all women in the same bucket. But sexual orientation significantly influences how a woman thinks, behaves, and moves in life. So although women have the same sex and or gender, because they have a different sexual orientation from each other, that influences how they think and how they move in life. So even though, yes, women, we share the same sex and or gender, if you are a lesbian, you're going to think differently from a heterosexual woman, and vice versa. If you are a heterosexual woman, you're going to think differently from a lesbian. And you're also going to have different experiences in life. So, as my video title asks, do lesbians get along better with women than heterosexual women? First of all, I want to let women know that you have been bamboozled by men. I'll repeat. I first want to let women know that you have been bamboozled by men. We all have. Lesbian women, heterosexual women, bisexual women, all women have been bamboozled by men. And here's why. Because men have always dominated the world in one form or another. And because of male domination, they have been able to control, monitor, as well as influence how women think about themselves as women and how women think about other women. Why is that? Because the world is founded on a patriarchal mindset, a patriarchal society. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. Men have always ruled in some form or fashion the world. And men have always loved to have women in their life. But they have trained women to think a certain way, to act a certain way, to behave a certain way, to believe a certain way, and to feel a certain way about women. If you have ever had a man in your life, whether this man is your father or your grandfather, an uncle, a brother, a male cousin, a male associate, maybe he works with you, maybe he's your boss. If you haven't had any type of male encounter as a woman, you have been affected by a male in some form or fashion. And the experience that you've had with men has also changed the trajectory of your life. Women who identify as heterosexual, who tell men, "Oh, I don't get along with women. Oh no, I don't have female friends. Oh, I think women are messy. Women don't get along." I remember growing up hearing heterosexual women often say, and they would talk about lesbians. Now, lesbians are female homosexuals or gay women, however you want to phrase it. And whenever I would hear heterosexual women discuss women collectively, whether you were heterosexual or homosexual, because women, they don't tend to focus on, and they get this from men as well. Women tend to not focus on the diversity in sexual orientation, because there's so many variations in sexual orientation. And that's why we have the LGBTQIA plus acronym, because people have various sexual orientations. But I've noticed heterosexual people, men or women, they are very one-track minded. They only focus on black or white, or male or female, or heterosexual or homosexual. But there's so many different sexual orientations, gender expressions, as well as races and nationalities. But people just tend to be biased, and they focus only on themselves. And this makes them very selfish and self-centered. But I'm saying all that to say this comes from male domination and how they've influenced women. And women, when they're usually heterosexual women, when they're usually talking about lesbians, it's usually always in a very derogatory manner. And I remember always hearing heterosexual women say, about lesbians, two women can't live in the same house together. Meaning, they also would say, oh, two women can't live under the same roof. And then you would hear things like, even if it wasn't about them talking about lesbians, they would just always talk about how moms and daughters don't get along, and how moms favorite their sons over their daughters. Like, let's pay attention to that. This is a real issue with women. And then you have, of course, women who are very heterosexual women who are very male centered. They have to always have a man in their life. They depend on men for everything, especially financially. And women are always focused on having a man or getting a man. And when women are in relationships with men, there's something that I've noticed about heterosexual women. They tend to be more averse towards women. Like, they don't want a woman around her man. They don't want a woman to be hanging around her house too much. It's always women trying to either compete with women or combat with women. And I'm like, and I always notice something with this scenario. Okay, so a woman's constantly fighting a woman, trying to make sure this woman doesn't get to her man. But I've always noticed the men just kind of sit back and don't do anything at all. They're very passive. And there's always these women fighting with each other over a man. And men, they just sit back and watch, and they get a kick out of it, honestly. It's entertaining to them, and it strokes their ego. Let's be honest, it strokes their ego. But I've noticed that men will watch this, and they actually instigate this behavior between women. Men enjoy seeing women fight each other. You know, they call it a cat fight. Men get off to this kind of stuff. And the reason why is because it's a way for them to manipulate women. You see, if a man is in a relationship with a woman and he is able to observe this woman get very jealous over him when it comes to him getting attention from women, then he uses that to his advantage. But he also uses it against the woman he's with or the women he's with, because some of these men have multiple women. And it causes a man to be basically placed on a pedestal when women fight over men. And men love that. Men absolutely adore it because these women worship these men. That's literally what's going on. And so men enjoy this. But yet men will ask women, why you ain't got no female friends? Oh, no, I don't like women. Oh, no, I don't like women. But if you notice, men never try to make an effort to bring women together. They are basically picking your brain, ladies. Men are picking your brain when they ask you these questions about how you think and feel about women. You know why? Because they want to know what kind of woman you are. They want to know that you're the kind of woman who hates women. Because if you are, then they can manipulate you and control you how they need to do in order for them to continue on dominating the world as men. And that's why I say women have been bamboozled by men. So if you don't believe me, let me ask you this. Do you ever hear men complaining about other men? Do you ever hear men saying, "Oh, I don't get along with males. I don't get along with men. I don't have male friends"? Do you ever hear men say that? I never hear men say that. As a matter of fact, what I hear men say is, "Oh, tonight I'm hanging out with the boys." They always have game night. Men always come together in some form or fashion. They always do. Men always come together. Men have camaraderie. Men have bromance. That's a new term in modern society, bromance. Men are always together. There's this popular phrase that men say, quote, bros over hoes. Bros over hoes. Are you paying attention to the language? Are you paying attention to what men are telling you? It's right in your face, ladies. Men are telling you how they think about women. Men actually lead in being misogynistic. And they want to make you misogynistic, and they have been successful. So men get along very well because men are on the same program. You even hear men say, oh, we don't violate the bro code, the man law. You see, there is a man law. There are man codes that they strictly abide by. But women don't have that kind of system. You know why? Because men have been extremely successful in tearing women down. And that's why heterosexual women will say that they don't like women, that they love men. And I understand if you're a heterosexual woman and if you love men, I understand that. That's not the issue. The issue is when you pedestalize men and when you think men are superior to women and when you look down on women. That's the problem. And men are able to constantly disrespect women, keep women at an inferior level. Why? Because women, you allow these men to do it to you every time. They bamboozle you every time. You fall for their tricks every single time. So when a man asks you, do you have female friends? He's not asking this question because he cares so much about you having female friends. He's trying to figure out if you are a weak-minded woman. And once he finds out you are a weak-minded woman, then he makes you one of his girls. You on the team now. You made it. You are officially a pick-me. You are a male-centered female. He's winning. Again. Touchdown. So Super Bowl Sunday is happening tomorrow, right? Super Bowl Sunday. Y'all getting amped up for Super Bowl Sunday? Watch all the men come together. Watch all the men come together. Listen to what they talk about. They are either going to talk about football, sports, and women, right? But a lot of their conversation surrounding women is very negative and toxic. You see, men are always on code, but women are not listening. They're not paying attention at all. And that's why you have so many women who are now misogynistic, like their male heterosexual counterparts. Now, how does this affect lesbians? Oh, well, I could write a book on it because I am an author. But in the meantime, you can go and buy my book, Lesbian Erasure, How to Cope, Black Lesbian Edition. It's available at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. It's also available on other outlet stores. Apple iBooks also holds the book. Go cop that. Women have been bamboozled by men for centuries. And this is why it even affects lesbians. Lesbians have been programmed to be like heterosexual women. Like men have this love-hate relationship for lesbians. It gets very complex, and I don't have enough time to discuss it in this video, but that's why you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay tuned and be informed and enlightened. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you. And also join my mailing list. You can email in info@GiselleWallace.com. My name is Giselle, last name Wallace, info@GiselleWallace.com. Or you can just go to my website, GiselleWallace.com, and go to the Contact Me page and get in touch with me. If you want life coaching, I am a certified life coach, and I'm here for you. We need to come together ladies. We've been divided for far too long. And it has been extremely strategic. Men have every intention to divide and conquer women. I'll repeat, men have every intention to divide and conquer women. And that's why you hear heterosexual women say, oh, I don't like females. Oh, I don't get along with women. I only have male friends. So how does this affect lesbians? Well, because lesbians are programmed from day one. You are going to be a heterosexual female. You're not going to be a lesbian. You know why? Because lesbians are independent thinkers. And lesbians are not male-centered. I did a video here on my YouTube channel, and it's titled, Lesbians Are Not Male-Centered, end quote. If you have not watched that video, go and watch it now. If you've already watch it again, because you may hear something different this time, and you need to listen and pay attention, because I am not just speaking out of the side of my neck. I'm dropping some gems for you. Because, ladies, it's time for us to come together. There are lesbians who have been bamboozled by men. Absolutely. And the proof is when you turn on, I don't know, the news, or if you open up social media, do you ever hear women say, I'm a lesbian? Like, I mean, just every time you just turn on the TV, watch the news, or if you are looking at maybe a movie, whatever, the media, the radio, social media, do you hear every time women saying, I'm a lesbian, I'm a lesbian, I'm a lesbian, or talking about their life as a lesbian? Be honest. No, I don't. Every once in a while I do. You know why? Because I'm a lesbian. So I may be subscribed to lesbian communities, but that's because I make the effort. I'm intentional, right? But no, you don't hear lesbians at all. We're not making or breaking records as lesbians. Like we're not the center of discussion. We don't have breaking news on the news outlets. No, we don't. You know why? Because society has programmed lesbians to be almost non-existent. But what you will see are heterosexual women dominating in every form of media. There's a reason for that. Like, lesbians face discrimination in the workplace. They won't hire you if they know that you're a lesbian. There is discrimination against women who identify as lesbians. If they see that you look like a lesbian, they may hire you more so in a male-dominated industry, only because they know that they're men and they still will outwork you, or they will out-earn you, because men earn more money than women. And that's called wage discrimination, because a woman could be doing the same job as a man, but yet a man will get paid more. And men are behind that, but also women are behind it. You know why? Because they program women to teach them and believe that a man should always make more money than a woman. So lesbians have suffered greatly in society because they've been discriminated against. You don't hear about as much. Nobody really knows much about lesbians. And in some ways, lesbians have been silenced. And you may have felt intimidated as a lesbian to speak up and represent yourself. And that's why diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is DEI, is so important in the workforce, which has been removed by President Donald Trump. Because, see, it is very intentional to keep women and lesbians, women who are of every race, especially Caucasian women, because Caucasian women actually have more heterosexual privilege than Black women who are heterosexual, and even more so over lesbians, because lesbians are female homosexuals. They do not involve themselves in relationships with men, romantically and or sexually. And that's a major problem for men, because men want women to pedestalize them. Men want to be able to influence how you think, ladies, because if they can get you to believe that males are superior to females, then they've won. In history and even present today's time, it's in your face that men have succeeded in programming women to believe that they are inferior to men. So, do lesbians get along better with women than heterosexual women? Yes, they do, because lesbians have a natural affinity for women. Lesbians appreciate being a woman, and they also appreciate women. And lesbians, because they face so much discrimination and life has been kind of an uphill battle, they're more independent and they can get some distance from men, and they can really see clearly what's happening in this world. And they see how men truly are and why they do what they do. And men heavily plan and continue to plan on how they're going to influence women. And as a lesbian, you're watching and observing this, and we see how heterosexual people interact with each other in these relationships between men and women. And we're not falling for it. We don't fall for it, for one, because we don't desire men as lesbians. And so we have a clearer mind, because you have to understand, heterosexual women, they're sleeping with these heterosexual men. It's so much deeper than just looking at the external factors around you. These women are sleeping with these men. They're taking on the spirit of heterosexual men when they sleep with them. So of course, these heterosexual women, they become like bots. They're replicates of heterosexual men. Why do you think a man wants to get you in bed so fast? Have you ever thought about that, ladies? No, all you thought about, all men just love sex. Oh yeah, they do. Yes, they do. But there's a reason why they want to bed you so quickly, because they know if they can get you in bed, then they have overpowered you. They are going to affect your mind and your emotions, your soul and your spirit and your body. You have opened your entire self to be exposed. And you don't even know it. So, Do lesbians get along better with women than heterosexual women? Absolutely. Lesbians love and appreciate women. But I got to be honest with you here. So I'm going to say this. The lesbians who have been bamboozled by heterosexual men, there's some lesbians, and I've heard about the more feminine lesbian complaining about the more masculine lesbian. The more masculine lesbian thinking like a heterosexual man. There are the masculine lesbians, not all of them, but there are some who have been bamboozled by heterosexual men because they believe they got to act like a heterosexual man. And some of them are very misogynistic. And they are even abusive to women. There are lesbians who are abusive to women. And they emulate what they see heterosexual women do to they emulate what they see heterosexual men do to heterosexual women. And it's very toxic. It's toxic masculinity that lesbians have taken on. And they bring that over into the lesbian community, and you need to stop. You need to deprogram. You need life coaching. Get in touch with me, because it's time for ladies to come together. So for you lesbians out there who have been taking on the role of a heterosexual man who is very misogynistic, domineering, you have been bamboozled. So yes, that is how lesbians have been bamboozled by heterosexual men, heterosexual programming. And then lastly, if you ask a heterosexual man, do lesbians get along better with women than heterosexual women? Well, first of all, they wouldn't answer this question. They would try to avoid the question. You probably never even thought to ask a man this question, who's heterosexual. But they more than likely probably would not tell you the truth, or they would avoid answering the question and try to, flip it around on you. Do you get along with women? Right? That's what they would do. But I'll answer on behalf of them, because they tell you without telling you, ladies. Yes, because in the beginning of this video message, I was giving you a dialogue of how heterosexual men always are watching and observing women. Men study women all the time. So to answer the question, yes, men know that lesbians get along better with women than heterosexual women. Yes. And that's why there is lesbian erasure. That's why men have worked so hard to get lesbians to think like heterosexual women. That's why men have worked overtime to sleep with lesbians, because they want to control us. Wake up, ladies. It's time for you to take your power back. Women are extremely powerful, but you need to know it for yourself to activate your power and your influence, because you're powerful and you're influential, ladies. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share this video. Sign up and register as a student at my academy, which is called Giselle Wallace Lesbian Academy, where we can learn our way as same-sex attracted people. Or if you are in the LGBTQIA plus community, you will be able to have access to education for us. Thank you for listening. I am Giselle Wallace.